Hi, everybody. I know that some of you are probably asking yourself how you're going to keep talking to your kid about coronavirus when you yourself don't entirely know what to say. And so I wanted to just read a little bit from Scripture to you, a moment in the wilderness when Moses doesn't know what to say to the people when they're asking him for something that he doesn't have to give them. And I think there's a little bit of good news in this passage that might help you as you're thinking about coming to your family and coming to your kids from a place of faith, even if you yourself don't feel like you've got that faith. This comes from the book of Exodus, chapter 17. It's verses 1 through 19. The whole Israelite community broke camp and set out for the Sin desert to continue their journey, just as the Lord commanded. They set up their camp at Rephidim, but there was no water for the people to drink. The people argued with Moses and said, "Give us water to drink." Moses said to them, "Why are you arguing with me? Why are you testing the Lord?" But the people were very thirsty. And they complained to Moses, "Why did you bring us out of Egypt to kill us, our children and our livestock with thirst?" So Moses cried out to the Lord, "What should I do with this people? They are getting ready to stone me." The Lord said to Moses, "Go on ahead of the people and take some of Israel's elders with you. Take in your hand the shepherd's rod that you used to strike the Nile River and go. I'll be standing there in front of you on the rock at Horeb. Hit the rock. Water will come out of it, and the people will be able to drink." Moses did so while Israel's elders watched. He called the place Massah and Meribah because the Israelites argued with and tested the Lord, asking, "Is the Lord really with us or not?" This coming Sunday, we are skipping worship at First German UMC for the first time in anybody's memory. It's an unprecedented measure that we're taking in an unprecedented time. And the fact that something so abstract as a virus and a public response to it could lead us to close the church for worship on Sunday can lead some of us to ask, is the Lord really with us or not? I felt that. I'm sure you felt that. And in their own way, I'm sure your kids have probably felt that too. But I want us to pay attention to the details of how the story unfolds that we just read. You've probably been in the wilderness yourself with kids who were hungry or thirsty and you didn't have anything to give them. And they complained, as kids sometimes do. Even your spouse or your significant other or you yourself were doing the complaining. We know what it feels like to go without. And in times when we go to the grocery store and see people running out with cases of water and canned food, wondering if there's going to be anything for us, we can feel that lack and that uncertainty. "Why are you arguing with me?" Moses asks the Israelites. "Why are you testing the Lord? He, like us, is short on patience. He knows why they're arguing. They're thirsty. He knows why they're pushing back. They don't know where they're going. They don't know when supplies are going to arrive. And they don't know when this whole ordeal is going to be over." They begin to ask Moses, why did God bring us out of Egypt if we're just going to die in the desert of thirst? If you're anything like Moses, you could probably put yourself into that situation. What would you say? Moses did the only thing he knew how to do. He didn't have the answer, so he turned and he cried out to God. And he asked a specific question. What should I do with this people? The Lord answered Moses' question. He said, "Go on, go ahead of them, and take some of Israel's elders with you. Take in your hand the shepherd's rod that you used to strike the Nile, and go." In other words, God tells Moses to take action, to lead, and to call to his side the people he knows that he can trust. Not all the Israelites, but the people who have proven reliable in the past. They get up and they start the journey, trusting that God is going to show up, that God might even surprise them. And God promises that he'll be out in front of them on the rock at Horeb, which is the mountain at the very end of the first 5 books of Moses, where Moses and God have their final conversation. And he says, hit the rock. Do something that you wouldn't do in ordinary times. Take a step in faith and see if I don't provide for you. And in the story, water flows out of the rock, and the Israelites drink. The way to lead your family and in front of your kids in a time like this is not to sit and to wallow in that fear and anxiety that I know that you're probably feeling. The way that we model for our kids how to be strong and calm and faithful in this time is by allowing ourselves to ask God for what we need. If you need courage to face the days ahead where there's so much uncertainty, then I would encourage you to go to a quiet place and to ask God for courage. If you need security, if you don't have the money to weather this storm and you're not entirely sure where it's going to come from, I would encourage you to go to a place where you can be quiet and focused and to simply ask for God's help. But don't stop there. Find the elders in your life, whether your parents, a former mentor, a former teacher, a good friend, the people who have been there with you and who have come through for you. Even if you haven't talked to them in a while, you'd be surprised. They're going through the same thing that you're going through, and you're calling them up might make all the difference in the world for them. Trust that God will put the people around you that you need to encourage you and to build you up. I promise that if your kids see you taking these steps, leaning into your community of support, and going to God when you don't know what to say, they'll take strength from your faith. Faith isn't something that we teach. There's no Bible study, there's no Sunday school that can make that leap that all of us come to make at some point in our lives. Faith isn't taught, it's caught. We catch faith by seeing people who went on ahead of us take action in faith themselves. So take heart. Don't tremble or be dismayed, for the Lord your God is with you wherever you go. Take a step into the unknown in this wilderness time. Stay close to God and stay close to your elders. And your family and your friends and your kids will notice the difference, and you will too. And if you need some specific prayer, go ahead and contact us at the church. We'll put you on the prayer list, and we'll make sure that you are not on this journey by yourself. Go in peace.